So, Moumina,
Yes.
could you introduce yourself, talk a little bit about yourself, I mean, who you are, what you do, and how this work came into your life and how it's changed your life?
Yes. Okay, so when I was 19, I was studying dance therapy in London, and I decided to go to India. I had this strong attraction to go to India, and I went to India to learn Indian dancing because I'd seen an Indian dancer performing in London. And when I saw her, I got shivers all over from head to toe, and I felt, I want to learn that dancing. So I went to India, and while I was in India, I went by sort of mysterious way to Pune, because I didn't plan to go there. I didn't plan to go to Pune, but I went because in India things happen that you don't plan. So I hadn't planned to go to Pune, but once I was in India, it could have guided me there. And so I went to Pune, and when I was in Osho's ashram, I just felt that that was the place I'd always been dreaming of my whole life. So I didn't go back to the dancing school, and I just stayed there. Okay, so that's the kind of beginning.
Okay. And, that's how this work came into your life, right?
Well, I started then to meditate, and I participated in everything that was possible there. It was like a feast of things. There was everything available. So I participated in everything, and then I started participating in groups. And when I was in the groups, I just felt this is the place where I want to be, because I just fell in love with it, what was happening, people getting free, everything being possible. So my idea was I would like to be a group assistant, so I can be in groups. I didn't want to be a therapist, that seemed much too difficult. So then I did a training, a long training in body work. And part of that training was assisting in groups. It was 2 therapists leading it, and they did also body groups. And I just loved being an assistant in the groups. And in the end, when I'd finished that training, there was a time when Osho said he wanted more therapists. So many therapists had come to Pune, therapists from the beginning of the human potential movement, which was in California and in London, and probably in Germany as well. And it was like a new movement. It was called the human potential movement. And so it was a complete explosion of new ways of working with people. And many of those therapists came to Osho, and he said he wanted more therapists to be trained. And I just happened at that time, I wanted to be a group assistant, and so I was picked to be trained as a next generation of therapists. And then I had an amazing training because I was in all the different groups. I was assisting in groups for years and years at the same time as being trained in all these different methods. So it was extremely rich, from dance to encounter groups, to bioenergetics, to pulsation, to rebirthing, everything. And so that's how I was being trained.
Okay. So that's how you get, this deep understanding of people and how to work with people. And
Yes.
can you tell us a little bit about, your experience when you were director of the Transformation Center at the Osho Meditation Resort in India?
Yes, so
And how you were helping people to transform their lives through this work?
yes. Well, so just gradually I sort of grew into it, because I had never had this idea to be a therapist, but it just grew, just as things happened in Pune. And once I started doing it, I started in Pune. First I was being trained, and then I was in Osho's commune. We had them all around the world, and I was in England, and then I was 24 years old, and that's when I was asked to start leading groups. So I'd been 5 years trained, and then I had to start leading the groups, and at the same time I was still being trained. Mm-hmm. So this was a very special situation, because I wasn't on my own. If I think of myself, if I was 24 years old, had to lead a group somewhere in London, no, it wouldn't be possible. But I was in this completely supportive community with 12 other therapists, and so somehow the trust just grew like this. And the trust was in something not in myself, it was a trust in the space that Osho created. So we always knew, all the therapists knew, it's Osho who's doing this work, he's coming through us somehow. When we relax, when we're not so there with our mind, then something can happen. So this is how we learn to be therapists, not by having lots of brilliant skills or brilliant knowledge. You might have that as well, but it was more like getting out of the way, and then something else could come. Mm-hmm. Okay.